Well, hey y'all, welcome back to Life with Nana. I'm Nana, and I'm so glad you stopped by the kitchen today to be with me. So, two things that I want to talk about today. The first thing is I'm going to be participating in two different challenges in the month of January. The first one is called Canuary. It's just a play on the name of January. And I don't know that I have this 100% right, but Lisa over at Sutton Days, I believe, is the person who started this challenge. I'm also going to be participating in Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, her challenge. And her challenge is not to go to the grocery store for the month of January. I think she does it 2 months, but I'm not going to do it 2 months. We're going to just do it 1 month. And you can go over to her channel, which is called Three Rivers Homestead, and check out the rules and all that, as well as go to Sutton Days for the Canuary information. So what I'm going to try to do is to do 2 videos a week, and one video will be about canning, and the other will be about cooking from our food stores. I thought that would be really a good way to show you what to do with the foods that we're canning up, and we're trying to get. Today we're going to can what my mother would have called refrigerator soup or stew. And this would something that, like, after the holidays, she would mix whatever she thought was going to be good and make a stew out of it. So this year for Christmas, we had pot roast. So we're going to get started with this recipe. So the first thing we're going to do, let me move my stool. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the meat into our jars. And this is just pot roast and a few carrots. I also had some steak that was in the freezer already cooked, and I didn't have a lot of the pot roast left, so I got that out. That was Papa's idea, and we're going to use that to have meals right on the shelf. And that is what is so great about this, is that you can open this up, make a pan of cornbread, and you have a meal, and I love that. So oops, we had a carrot go overboard. Get back in there. All right. Now, let's set this out of the way. A little bit of beef broth. If I need some more, I can grab some. This is just store-bought beef broth in case I need it. And then we have corn, and we're going to put a little bit of that in here. And this is I think this is such a great way to, to have ready-made meals. We're always looking for convenience foods, and we want good, healthy foods. And, not all of us are in a position to raise everything we eat. I don't think anybody can raise everything they eat, but raising a lot of what they eat. So, of course, a lot of this is store-bought, but that's okay. If you can raise it, that's fantastic. And I'm just going to put a big spoonful in each one of these, and then I'll go back and if I have some left. We want to try to use up as much of this as possible. I already have my canners set up over here. I will show you how to get it going and all that when we get to that point. Let's get this over here. Now, I'm just going to kind of tap these down a little. All right. Now, the next thing I have here is I have some green beans and some Shelly beans that are mixed. I do want to make room for my potatoes in here. We may have to shake these jars down again, or take a few of the green beans out. We'll see. We do want to have plenty of room to put some potatoes in there. So I'm going to take just a few of these out because I want plenty of room for that. You don't want to pack these too tightly. You want to have room. Once we get our broth in there, we will take a chopstick or a skewer of some sort and just something to stir it around. Okay. Now, here's the potatoes, and I have a big bowl of these, but that's okay. What doesn't go in these jars, we'll eat in the next few days. It's not a big deal. Again, you don't want to overfill your jars. You want a good 1-inch headspace. And this rim right there, that is about 1 inch. And so that's what we're looking for. Now, anytime you're canning meat, which is whether it's cooked or not cooked, you have to follow the raw guidelines. So, like I said, these are going to have to go for 75 minutes. "90 minutes if they were quart jars. And I did have a lot of the potatoes left, so that's okay. I am going to put just a few more in that one, though. Just a few more. Okay. Move that over to the side. I'm going to need a funnel. And we're just going to fill these up to the 1-inch headspace. You do want to debubble your jars, your contents of your jars. Okay. So, more beef broth. We're going to fill this up to the 1-inch mark. And then I'm going to debubble. Okay. So, we're just going to debubble these by kind of going in. We're going to make sure that they're packed down pretty well. That one needs a little more juice. A little more broth. Now you can see how the broth kind of goes down in there when you debubble. That's why you want to do that. And you want to get the bubbles out too, but okay. So, a little more broth in this one. A little more in this. We don't want to fill them too much because we don't want them to siphon when they're canning. And I can already see I've already overfilled a couple of them. So we are going to just pour just a tad of that off. Tad of that off. This is apple cider vinegar. And that's going to be just fine to wipe these rims with. We just want to make sure there's no grease. I'm going to take potato out of this one. Get that headspace right. I'm going to re-wipe that because I don't want that to not seal. All right. So we have our 7 jars here. That's what fits in my electric canner. If you're doing wide mouth pints, And I have my lids here. They've been soaking in some hot water. And I love the 4-jar lids. They are so wonderful. I've had one failure, user error. One of my jars had a nick in the top, and I didn't check it well enough. So that's a good rule of thumb there. As I tell everyone, learn from my mistakes. That way you don't lose a jar of whatever it is you're canning. Now, this is all relatively cold. Another rule is that everything must be the same temperature, or basically the same temperature. That one looked like it had a nick in it. I wanted to make sure it didn't, even though I've already checked it. So this is basically from the refrigerator. It's been sitting out for just a minute for me to get ready to get it in the jars. And I have in my canner, I'll show you my canner in just a moment, cold water, tap water. It's not really cold, it's just tap water. And what I love about this canner is you don't have to babysit it for very long. So we love that. All right, and you just want these finger tight. You don't want to really, cinch them down and do all that, because it'll make your lids buckle sometimes. Although I haven't had that happen with the 4 jars, it's still, that's the recommendation, and we want to follow the recommendation. Okay, so here's my canner. It is a digital pressure canner made by Presto. I love this thing. And I'm going to put water in here up to the first. It has a little notch. All right, so we have our cool water in here. And then we're going to put our jars in here that are cool. Okay, this is my electric canner. It is a digital pressure canner, Presto Precise. It is made specifically for canning. You do not want to use something like an Instapot or something like that. It's just not safe. So you want something that's specifically designed for pressure canning. I'll show you. This is asking me, do I want a pressure can? I do. Now it's asking me how long. And I want it to pressure can for 75 minutes. Then I'm going to mash my button. It says to insert the jars. I've already done that. Now it's going to start warming. And I'm just going to put the lid on it. And I'm going to lock it down. And I'm going to take my regulator off and lay it to the side. This is so easy. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to stay in the kitchen so I can check on it. Because remember, Nana can't hear the beeps. And this will beep. And if you have good hearing, you can go about and do whatever you're doing and you'll hear the beep. I can't hear it, so I'm going to stay in the kitchen until it gets to the point that it'll vent for 10 minutes. I'm going to put the regulator back on there and put it to can. And as soon as I do that, it's going to start building pressure inside the canner, which is what's going to preserve your food. And then you're just going to wait until it counts down to 0 and it says done. Once it gets to done, well, it'll say done right there on the little dial. I like to just leave it alone. If you take it out of the canner while it's super, super hot, you have a bigger likelihood of your jars siphoning, which just means the liquid inside is going to rush up to the top of your jars and it's going to come out from under your seal, and it's going to give you a less chance of a good seal, and we don't want that. We want the best possible chance for a good seal. And so I will bring you back when this is finished, and let you see how it turned out. And I've always wanted to participate in this challenge, so this is my first year to do that. Now I'm giving myself, me and Papa, it's just two of us here, but I'm giving us $50 a week, and that seems like a lot, but groceries are expensive. And the things that we will need to buy are things like, we don't have chickens for eggs, so we'll have to buy eggs every week. Milk or yogurt, fruit, that type of thing. So if I don't use the $50, great. But if I do, that's okay. And if something comes up, hey, nobody's perfect, right? We're doing the best we can. We're trying to do the best we can. And that's all that's important right now, is just to try to do the very, very best that you can. Anyway, that's what we're going to do, and we're going to get this done, and then we will be back, and we will, I'll let you see how this turned out. Well, okay, our canner has finished. You can see right here it says done. I came in and made sure that I just took the lid and kind of set it off to the side. Now I'm going to get it out of the way. And we're just going to let this sit here for a second. It's looking really good. Looks like everything is sealing properly. And we're going to start taking these out of the canner. Look how gorgeous that looks. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Make a pan of cornbread. Woo-wee! What are you talking about? That will be so, so good. I'll sit here until tomorrow, and then I will wash them and make sure that the seal is good, and we'll take the bands off and we'll put them on our pantry shelf. And that's 7 more jars of something to have a quick meal. I love that. So this is not something that's recommended, but it's something that my mother did. And she always put a tea towel, just draped it over the jars. Because our central unit blows from the top, from the ceiling down, I guess she was always afraid that, something, the air would crack a jar or something. But anyway, that's done more out of habit because I've seen her do it so many times. I hope you enjoyed yourself today. I sure did. Remember, be kind. Nana loves you. Nana's so proud of you. And I'll see you on the next one. Have a wonderful day.